Okay, old goats. Went ahead and brought it outside. I decided we're going to do this side of the house because this is the side that I disturbed the ground 2 years ago. So I figured that if I'm going to find junk, true junk, it'll probably be this side because I've already tilled it to grade it off at a little more of an angle to draw the water away from the house. So being I went through it with the tiller, anything that might have been close to the surface has already been potentially hit by the tiller and mostly destroyed. So we figured we'll do this side first. That way, if I find something that's destroyed, I kind of expect it to be destroyed. Most of the rest of the yard I haven't touched, and this is a 1920s house. It was built in the 1920s. There is an old fairground about 1/10 of a mile, 1/10 to 1/4 of a mile west of us here. So I'm thinking the town proper was about 1/4 mile to 1/2 mile east, and the fairground was 1/10 to 1/4 mile west. I haven't really looked at the map too much, just kind of determine exactly where that old fairground was, but I do plan on trying to get permission to detect it at some point, just because, I mean, that was 1800s. There's a fairground. Might be some Indian head pennies. And on this property here, I did find an Indian head penny back in 1982, I believe. I want to say I was about 5 or 6 years old. I found it right near the driveway, of which I did tear up the driveway area too. So didn't find anything new, but I found one when I was like 5 or 6. I gave it to my grandpa. This is my grandpa's house. He was ecstatic to receive that Indian head penny. Don't know whatever happened to it. We're gonna get cracking here, or swinging, and try to see if we can find something. I'm going to have to pause this for a minute so I can get this thing set up, because I've never used this, and I'm not even sure what the sensitivity is and how much I'm going to have to adjust some things on it. We'll catch back up with you guys here in a minute. I got another reading, and this one had a reading for nails and a reading for a penny. But I went ahead and popped the plug, and instantly I found a nail, or at least part of a nail, which this is what I expected to find. Well, actually, no, it's a full nail. It's just a little itty bitty small guy. So we found our first find in the yard. Alrighty, well, we started digging here because we got a couple hits for silver, and I think there was one for a penny. Started digging in here, and a woman shouted in glee, there is a coin here. And then of course a nail, another nail, more nails, more nails. This one was some sort of a nail that I kind of broke. It's quite oxidized and or rusted through. A big bolt. That was actually kind of cool. Actually, this nail, when I put my shovel down, it freaking grabbed right a hold of it and nicked it. Stopped me from going down. Screw. Looks like a Phillips head. And most of these were down right around 8 inches. Some sort of a cap for something. It's got a little gash in it here, so I assume the fluid comes out of the 2 holes up there. That's before my time. As far as metal, I'm not even sure what this one is. It's either a rock or it's metal. I'm not 100% sure. We got some porcelain, or some pieces of a plate. The woman always finds those fascinating.
Those are treasures to her. I don't know if that's a piece of that or not. Then of course there was a couple rocks that had a pretty nice look to them. This one was, I think, mostly, you could see through it pretty good when it was wet. So of course I snapped that up because I was like, you know what, that might actually be something. We'll just take a closer look at it after we clean it up. It might be a good rock to tumble with. This one's got like a pinkish hue to it, so we're probably going to try to tumble that too. And of course more glass. We got tons of glass. Looks like that's another, like a flint or something. The green glass. I don't know if it's depression glass or not. Looks like a beer bottle. Piece of plastic. More pieces of glass. Piece of aluminum, I think. A lid for some sort of like a medicine bottle or some small bottle. A couple more rocks. More pieces of pottery, rock. This is a button. It was actually found right by the garage where the old porch sidewalk would have went to the garage. So that was kind of an interesting find. I can just imagine Grandpa running around with his shirt buttoned and can't find the button. Piece of plastic. Not real sure what that was from. It was like trash to me, but you know, you find it in the yard, sometimes you just want to hang on to it for a little bit. More glass. A little bit more glass. Another piece of plate. Looks like a piece of plastic. It's got like a dotted line and like a circle-ish pattern. A couple more pieces of plastic. Piece of glass. Looks like another piece of a beer bottle. A washer. That was kind of, you know, whatever. Another nail. Some more rocks. This one looked a little different. A piece of plastic here. Looks like maybe a picture frame of some sort. Or at least part of a picture frame. Can't be sure though. I mean, you know, before my time. And then this actually rung up as metal. It actually hit as silver. I don't know. We haven't cleaned it up or even done much looking at it. I'm gonna guess it's just some sort of like die cast or something. Looked to me like a part of a handle for a coffee cup. But it is definitely metal. So I don't know. It could be. I mean, to me, it really looks like part of a handle for a coffee cup, where you know, put your finger around it and sip. We could probably match it up pretty good here. As far as what it would be, I believe that's what it's going to be. So I don't know why that rung up as silver. A little different, but yeah, sometimes they read wrong anyway. And this is the coin we found, and I can't read it still. Honey, who did you say this was?
James Buchanan.
Okay, this is a 2010 James Buchanan dollar coin. That kind of upsets me a little bit because my grandfather was a coin collector, but I don't think he'd have been around for this coin. So I'm not real sure how this coin got in the yard, especially with where it was. I want to say Grandpa passed in 2001-ish, 2001 or 2002. And I've lived here since 2007. And I don't remember having a James Buchanan dollar coin. But it definitely would have gotten into the yard sometime after I moved in because it wasn't minted until after I moved in. That's what's concerning about me, or about it to me. Is I wonder how it got out there. Oh well. Anyone out there looking for a James Buchanan dollar coin? We got one. Just leave a comment down below. Let us know if you want it and how much you're willing to pay for it. Alright guys, there's one thing I forgot to point out that I really, really wanted to.
What?
We found, actually the woman found, a push pin. I'm really surprised she didn't push it into her finger to find it. It's a push pin.
There's your rock.
If I would have found it, it would have been found sticking out of my hand, and I would have been like, ouch. But that is actually amazing that no one got pinched or stuck by that. It's actually a phenomenal find in my opinion. Here's that one rock cleaned up a little bit that was kind of somewhat see-through, I thought. It's got like a yellowish hue to it, and then white. I don't know. I'm not much of a rock person. I mean, I'm trying to learn a little bit about rocks. I think it goes along well with the metal detecting. It's because whenever you metal detect, you're going to pull up rocks. So it might behoove a person to know the differences in rocks and maybe what would be a good find and not. You can clearly see there's a line there of the yellowish versus the whitish, the transition between the two colors. So I mean, I like that. That's why I kept it. I'm probably gonna put, if it's nothing special, we're gonna put that in a tumbler and try to smooth that out. Maybe break it apart and smooth it out or something. See if it turns out pretty. But the push pin could have been pretty painful. Bye.